Yo, Angela, how come you so fucked up? This is the Horrible Film School. Take a seat and rip open those trapper keepers. My name is Chris Purdy, and I am here with Mr. Ryan Hootie.
What's up, fellas? Let's go back to camp today. Get some canoeing in.
And the big bro, Mr. Nasty, the 100% beef all-American boy, my brother, Joey.
Right, let me show you, baby. That ain't no woman, it's a man. What up, boys and gals? I know y'all out there. Y'all doing all right this evening?
Today's assignment, as we've already spoiled, 1983's Sleepaway Camp. The lesson: you won't be coming home. All right, Hootie, this was your choice. Big 5-0. Take your bow. Take the mic. Take us to Sleepaway Camp.
Oh, what an exciting day it is. And I hope to hear many, many, many more lessons from this film from you. So, as we always do, let's hear what the fans have to say before we hop into the film. First up, first review from Tim8512 from August 2008, titled, You have got to be kidding me. First off, I have never before given a movie 1 out of 10 stars. So he's already letting us know he's not a fan.
Fuck, man. He's not this kind of a person, but...
This movie has the worst acting I have ever seen in my entire life, and I'm neither kidding nor exaggerating here. I've seen a whole bunch of just-for-fun student flicks, and still, nowhere near as bad. It was insulting. At times, I was wondering if this film was a hoax, but then I came here to find that it actually has a following. What the actual fuck? The cinematography is okay for an amateur film. The music has a vintage 80s score, but the acting, oh my fucking god, the acting. The end was, however, nice. That's the review.
From a technical sense, he kind of hit the nail on the head.
I loved how he sliced it nice and he was like, but that ended was fucking dope, I gotta say.
And he doesn't understand why this thing has a big following. You just fucking told us why it does.
To be as successful as it is, I mean, you'd think it would be a little bit better acted.
The next review comes from Triplet30 from 2003, titled Mind Blowing. How such an ingenious piece of work gets lumped together with a typical 80s slasher fare is beyond me. But this is by far the pinnacle of American horror cinema. The basic plot may not be that original, but the underlying story and the way it unfolds is simply brilliant. Flashbacks throughout the film, paired with a very insulting intro, keep you riveted to the film, constantly analyzing and trying to dissect what that nagging something that isn't right feeling could be. Of course, the climax itself is so unbelievably devastating, so staggering. It's easily ranked as one of the best films ever. A complete blast from beginning to end. 10 out of fucking 10 stars.
All right, now that one was a little bit too knob-slobbing, but that one also has some valid points.
The divisiveness of this film is really interesting. This person thinks it's a piece of beautiful artwork.
It's funny, too, because they essentially are saying the same things about the movie. It's literally all about how you feel at the end of the movie, I guess, is how you grade it walking out.
Oh, it's all about perspective. Like, what I've seen and heard about it, pretty much as soon as they introduce Aunt Martha, that's the make or break point. That's the point where you either turn it off or you fucking dive head first.
Hopping into the behind-the-scenes notes here, writer and director Robert Heltzik directed and wrote this film and returned to Sleepaway Camp in 2008. And he is now out of the game and is a self-employed lawyer.
Yeah, the movie was actually financed, sadly, by the passing of his mother, and the subsequent inheritance that came with it. Like Hootie said, he only directed 2 of the Sleepaway movies and didn't have a hand at all in the 3 sequels, aside from Return to Sleepaway Camp.
So he was not in charge of hiring Bruce Springsteen's sister to be in the second one.
I think he, from what I understand, probably pretty well distanced himself from the second and third one. Essentially, was like, I got to set this shit right, and that's kind of why he came back and did that fourth one.
Oh, he actually did the fifth one.
There's a fifth one? You sure?
Yeah, it was like 3 sequels, I thought. It was like 2, 3, and 4, and then returned to Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah.
Unless I'm mistaken.
Yeah, there's a lot. He's correct. There's a lot of sequels.
Yeah, there's a shit ton of them. And they're supposedly going to be like a reboot in the works.
Of all the things to reboot at a time like this is not something.
This might be the time to get it financed.
Hey,
Sure.
hey, I know there's certain you got some people that would play that Martha role perfectly, bro.
Let's jump into some more behind-the-scenes stuff here. As a child, Robert Heltzik, the director, actually went to the camp that was used in this film. Felicia Rose was only 13 at the time, which is unusual for a feature film. Studios usually cast 18 and over who look younger because of restrictions on using actors. Also at 13, she was too young to see her own movie in theaters.
Shit, we was going to rated R stuff when we was 8 years old, brother.
Yeah, I remember. I think it was Pokemon, the movie that was paid for. I snuck into Resident Evil with Mila Jovovich's nipples.
Nice.
You remember that move Mom used to do where she would like take one of our shoes off and like she would get Papa to carry us to the side door, be like, "Yeah, he left his shoe in there." He would just fucking carry us in there for free.
Yeah, let me just go ahead and walk in there. Fucking Pops didn't care, man.
Last note I have here is Felicia Rose and Jonathan Tiersten developed a romance during the film, but broke up soon after. He was 17, and she was 13 at the time.
This movie,
Yikes!
this
Ain't no
movie's
already too
got
much.
some electricity around it.
I can't believe that kid was 17, though.
Yeah, he definitely is like that prototype of let's cast a kid who's pretty much an adult or close to an adult to play a 12-year-old that kind of looks like it.
I don't know
Yeah,
how
like
you
a
can't
child.
believe that. There was like 30-year-olds playing fucking camp goers in that movie.
There's some, yeah. There's some body hair on some childs.
Dude, the actor Billy over there hanging fucking 9 inches of dong have his tidy whities and shit. Yeah, he wouldn't fucking 14, trust me.
I did reading up about Mr. Hiltzig's inspiration for this. I thought this was kind of interesting. It says he wrote this before Friday the 13th ever came out because he knew the owners of the camp because he went to school there. He went to camp there, and he just thought it would be a good location for a horror movie. That's something that sounds awesome. It might be bullshit, but the fact that two people had this idea basically at the same time is food for thought. Interesting.
I mean, we did The Burning, and they said the same thing. Sleepaway Camp says the same thing. I don't know if it's like
Something
a
about
trend.
that early 80s fucking sleepaway camps were just blowing up. People were like, we got to kill some of these fucking kids around here.
It's like when they, when all the countries and shit were like racing to the moon. These movie companies just racing to make the first fucking camp movie. They set their aspirations a little bit lower than the damn outer space.
And the last little bit here I want to throw out just a point of interest for me personally. They used a full orchestral score versus the synth stuff that becomes so common in the 80s horror stuff, which I thought was super unique about this. It gave it really like that Hitchcockiness. And if you kind of, not to get ahead of ourselves, but kind of think into what this movie is known for, it's very much a Hitchcock-esque twist, if you will. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, the score sounded like it belonged more in like a Stanley Kubrick movie or some shit.
Very 60s, 70s style.
The role of Ben is played by Robert Earl Jones, father to the legendary James Earl Jones. The movie was shot in 5 weeks on a budget of $350,000, gross over $11 million. Felicia Rose is married to the founding member and former frontman of CKY's Darren Miller.
Oh, really? So she's related to Bam?
Or
his brother was the drummer, right?
Yeah, his brother was the drummer, Jess. I think
Bam
he's
who?
like...
Bam Margera.
The guy who's wanted by the Pittsburgh authorities right now?
Yes.
Wow,
Yeah.
okay.
I guess she's not related to him, but she's probably hung out with him.
She's been to a few cookouts with him and stuff.
Into it. Where he's beat the shit out of the family members.
He just beats the shit out of Uncle Phil. Was that his name?
Dude, he went the arty route. I think he's in prison right now for some shit. So Yeah, we won't be seeing that guy anytime soon. Is he dead? He might be dead now.
No.
I know
Bam?
he went to prison.
Bam?
No, not Bam, but the uncle or whatever his name was.
Oh, you're talking about Uncle Vito.
That's the guy I'm talking about. Vito.
Yeah, I think he got into some child's stuff.
Hot
maybe.
Oh,
water.
my God. Good Lord.
Hot water.
It's bad. Celebrity is it's a curse. It's not good for anybody. We condemn it, but
It's
we
a
do
curse.
love our actors. So
Last little note here. Jane Krakowski, a.k.a. the chick from the Dixie Chicks' Goodbye Earl music video, and Betty from the live-action Flintstones sequel, was originally cast to play Judy, but turned down the role because of, spoiler, the brutality of the character's fate.
Ooh.
oh, she didn't like that script, huh? So she read through this whole script and was like, "Hold on, I don't like what happens to Judy. I'm out."
Everything else, fine.
I want to talk to someone who read this script before it was made and had like an opinion on it and kept it to themselves.
I think they're actually working on a documentary called Angela right now about the original Sleepaway Camp.
About the
I don't know if
protagonist.
I don't know if that's came out yet or not, but it's supposed to like delve into like the making of.
I want that story before the camp. I need the prequel to this, you know? How was that was developed? You'll go there on a bus and come back in a bag. Let's dive in to Sleepaway Camp.
Come on, kid. Get me down, I'll make you a nice ice cream sundae. Okay? Hey, what the hell are you doing? Oh, you little shit! When you get down from me, I'm gonna rip your fucking head off! Ben! Help! Ben! Ben, get the hell out of here! Ben!
The film opens, and I do mean a film, with all the imperfections of the picture, on a deserted summer camp that has been boarded up. Side note, someone is still mowing the grass. We find out that Camp Arawak is now for sale. On a flashback summer day at a nearby lake, a father is sailing. Let's stop here. Was that Arawak camp, or is this a separate camp? Because it's never mentioned.
People live around the lake and the camp is in the background, like across the lake from them. That's how I took it.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
Hey, can we talk about like a little bit more about this boarded up camp? There's scenes throughout this or sound bites throughout like the overview of the camp where they're playing basketball and they're like playing in the water and they're doing all these sports. During the basketball sequence, there's a dude complaining about somebody throwing elbows. All I could fucking think about was Hootie and his legendary rebounding elbows. How he used to throw them motherfuckers like Randy Savage in the paint.
He's fucking Draymond out there, yeah.
Got to make space, man. You know, I got to make space for myself. A father, at this flashback on the summer lake, a father is sailing with his two kids who push him into the water with some good old-fashioned horseplay. Just as they are all in the water playing, a group of kids is coming in a little too hot and kills the father by running him over and decapitating him. One of the kids on the jet boat is really shaken up by the whole thing.
It was really awkwardly spaced and paced. I really didn't understand what the fuck I was supposed to get out of it.
It's funny because there's a guy initially driving the boat. He's a lifeguard for the camp they're at. And not a minute after he lets his female compatriot drive the boat, she murders two people with it.
Yeah, it's funny because they're like, "Oh, what is she back there yelling about?" "Oh, I don't know." She's just like
She's
fucking
not even
looking
fucking
around.
looking. We're literally heading to the bank. Like a fucking bank. And
Well, I don't know. What the fuck could she be talking? What would anybody be yelling about while I'm fucking not looking forward while I'm driving?
To Joey's point, she's literally driving straight to the bank of the lake. Like, there's several different things wrong here.
And as soon as they notice that they're about to actually like vehicularly manslaughter three people, the lifeguard guy, he goes to grab the wheel, but instead of grabbing the wheel, he actually grabs the throttle and pushes it all the way forward. So they immediately just launch over the fucking boat, tear this guy's head off, drowns one of the kids. And the guy's friend on the shore, the look on his face, he says, "John," but his fucking face, like he just watched his buddy die, and all he can do is stare straight ahead with this "I just shit myself" look on his face.
It really hasn't gotten the tone of what this movie's going to be about. Hasn't arrived yet. I just thought this looked like shit and was super confused by what was going on here.
Yeah, it looked terrible. It was acted terrible. Like, even the kids pushing the guy into the water. It just didn't look right.
This was the worst part of the movie for me. Hands down.
It's definitely not a good way to hook a crowd.
I think I read or heard somewhere, and I'm not sure if it's 100% true, the little boy in this scene is actually the brother of one of the cast members of the Jersey Shore.
Yeah, I came across that too. Apparently he was, what's that guy's name, Mike? I never watched the show.
The one that's got the abs, bro.
Yeah, he's like an asshole. He's like the big one or whatever.
Get the washboards.
The one that's an asshole. I think they're all fucking assholes, Chris.
He had like his separate own like reality show, and this guy, that kid, that actor, is actually on the show, like part of his family or whatever.
Is he walking around with a Sleepaway Camp shirt just saying, yeah, dog,
I'm the one in Sleepaway Camp. Remember that shit?
Y'all know that dick in there, bro? That's my dick.
Well, you were in the worst part of that terrible fucking movie?
8 years later, Ricky and Angela are getting ready to go to their first summer camp together. Here, Angela is played by Felicia Rose, who you might know from Terrifier 2, a movie we've already covered, Victor Crowley, and Grandma's Sloppy Seconds.
Jeez, is that on porno?
Not a porno?
I have no idea. Was it on her acting
I'm
credits?
going to add that to my watch later list.
She has over 135 acting credits to date.
Oh, hey, in terms of like volume, not speaking to quality here at all, this may very well be the Scream Queen. Like, she has a role in over 100 horror movies, and I think she had 32 acting roles, like, upcoming.
It was 35. I actually wrote it down. I was like, this is fucking nuts, dude.
It looks like a lot of, like, horror titles.
In all the interviews that I've seen with her, she comes off like just a hard-working, good person, so good for her.
She was the principal in Terrifier, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, she's fucking hot.
Oh, yeah. That memory has definitely come full circle now.
But does she have a surprise for you, Chris?
Oh, she got a big surprise. Well, not so big.
Get your ballparks ready.
I got a bun, brother.
Ricky is played by Jonathan Tiersten. Again, these two were together at one point in this film. He was in Lake of Shadows and Time's Up from 2022. You may ask, Hootie, why did you bring these up? I'll tell you. Felicia Rose was in both of those films with him.
Yeah, dude's actually like a pretty good. He has like a lot of musical talent. He's like a guitarist and a frontman for several bands.
The two are cousins, and Ricky's mom is terrifying as she sends them off on their own. She claims that she's somehow a doctor.
This was a very confusing scene, especially coming off that crash sequence. Like, I couldn't understand. I said, why is she yelling at the kids? Like, her way of speaking.
Supposed to act strange, or is this just really bad acting?
This is going to be me probably reading too much into it. But back in the 8 years ago scene at the lake during the accident, John and John, the guy who died, and the guy on the shore are talking about Doc's coming. So I think they're actually talking about Aunt Martha in this instance.
Oh.
And they're talking about how her husband left her at that point. And I think it's one of those things of, like, you have a kid with somebody and you're with them for so long, but then they leave, and you kind of like, a screw goes loose, or like a wire snaps in your brain, and you start going fucking crazy, or in this case, bipolar, whatever. I don't know what you describe her.
Kind of like a Norma Bates situation.
At Camp Arawak, all of the buses begin to unload, and hundreds of kids descend onto the camp. The cooks are really intrigued with the kids, and one of them is talking about them as young, fresh chickens. And back home, they call them baldies.
They just waiting to be plucked.
We call them baldies where I come from.
This was so fucking awkward.
They're too young to even understand what's on your mind.
Ain't no such thing as being too young. You're just too old.
Yeah, that motherfucker was laughing too. Like, shit.
This guy is has known pedophilic tendencies.
This is typical Tuesday shit for them.
They have to all know. Mel has to know about this shit. Why hasn't anything been
Mel's
done?
fucking insane too. Hold on, we got some male conversations to come.
Ricky links up with his buddy Paul, who tells him that his girlfriend from last summer, Judy, has grown a huge set of cans. Paul is played by Christopher Collette, who was in The Manhattan Project, and a shit ton of Pokemon.
He's a voice actor, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Good on him.
They credit him as a voice director, whatever the fuck that is, on a shit ton of Sonic games during the mid to late 2000s.
What do you mean, whatever the fuck that is?
What is a voice director?
The voice actors need directors too. You tell them, like, do it again, or change your pitch, or try it like this, just like a regular fucking director does.
I hate this kid's voice. I don't know how he got this job.
So in that regard, an animation director is like a record producer.
Yeah, I guess in a way.
Interesting.
Like recently, side note here, Christopher Judge, guy who does the voice of Kratos in God of War, he just won like best performance last year for God of War Ragnarok. And when he won, he got his award from Al Pacino. I thought that was pretty fucking cool. But
Wow.
Al Pacino didn't even know where the fuck he was at
Shut up.
during that
That's
whole
besides the
goddamn.
shout out Al. That's besides the point. But he thanked his director, and he talked about how like there were some days where he just couldn't hit what he needed to do, and he cried in the studio. So I mean, it's a real profession. Quit shitting on these people.
Judy is played by Karen Fields, who was, of course, in Sleepaway Camp, and a short film she produced herself named Judy.
I looked for it. I couldn't find it. I was gonna watch it.
She made a short film about her character in the only movie she's been in.
Yeah, her method of killing people is with the curling iron.
Is this like an alternate universe? The characters...
No. The character survives in her short film.
The character is never shown dead. Judy finds Angela to be a creep because she just sits and stares at people. She has yet to say a single word in this film. All the kids pile into the mess hall, where jacked up Ronnie leads Angela right to the child molester chef. Did Ronnie know that he was a pedophile?
God damn, Ronnie's bulge walking around all these kids, hitting them in the back of the head with that hog as he's walking around the cafeteria, giving Kevin Bacon a run for his money. Kevin Bacon's bulge versus Ronnie's bulge. Chris, go.
I'm going to get the Bacon just because I know he'll hold you afterwards,
over, man.
I think Ronnie will be on to the next.
Look at Ronnie. He could hold you above his fucking head.
Ronnie had the biggest titties in this movie, too. Let's go ahead and throw that out there.
God,
That
he was
dude-
so muscular.
That dude's
It was so jacked.
huge. I think there's even one shot later in the movie where he's out of focus and he's just fucking lifting.
I got a fucking note about that later. His arms and chest were so big, but his shorts were so small. He had a nut inside of his pants legs. Like one per pants leg just hanging out.
And he had to wear these bright ass red shorts too, so you can't help but look at him every time he walks in a room.
The chef begins to take his belt off in front of Angela, but Ricky saves the day just in time. Later, the chef is preparing. Joey, you got something?
This motherfucker says to Angela, it's fucked up, but hey, he says to Angela, "You sure are a sweet little cupcake." And I'm thinking, yeah, and Artie's got a sweet tooth.
Nasty bitch.
Also, like when he gets saved by Ricky right here, he punches a box. Did y'all read the fucking box he punches?
Oh, the box said like Tully?
The box said Tubby.
Tubby, yeah, I remember that.
It hurt his fucking feelings, and he just punches the shit out of this box. Man.
Fuck you, box.
This might be the most quotable fucking movie, like in the horror genre, I've seen.
Wow, okay.
Ricky's interaction a little bit earlier with Judy when she's walking off after she rejects him. Well, excuse me, bitch.
This kid's profanity is pretty high level for a child.
Apparently, that's how he got his role.
Brandy?
He was told by the director during his casting, his audition to cuss the director out.
Oh, just free ball, like rip into me. Let me see what you got.
Yeah, I mean we see it later. He's kind of a master at that shit.
Yeah, it's definitely in his repertoire. I think it's also kind of something we should probably note here. We're like 30 minutes into this movie, and we've seen like really heavy emphasis on like sexualization of these young women.
It's a
Like
lot
every
going on.
character's talking about, oh, her titties got big, or I bet they don't have any hair on them, and then this dude's like literally trying to molest somebody he's known for 30 seconds. It's insane. Definitely has some through lines that are gonna pay off later.
I mean, honestly, it's the 80s. I think the 80s was just like that.
I mean, I get that, but I think it's pretty overt here. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just retrospect with how the movie ends, you know.
Yeah, it couldn't be made nowadays, like the way it was made here. No fucking way.
I would agree that it is the 80s, but when you bring in the pedophilia and how aggressive the chef is, it like takes it a little over the top for me. This is awkward for a horror movie. Later, the chef is preparing a 40-gallon pot of boiling hot water on top of a 4-foot stove for a whole mess of corn on the cob. Someone sneaks up behind him and dumps the 40 gallons of boiling hot water all over him.
Dude, what the fuck is up with this water pot they
It's a
have?
comically large pot
I wrote,
of
this
water.
is the most awkward staged water sequence I've ever seen.
It's 4 feet tall. I mean, that shit's straight out of fucking Looney Tunes. It'd take a goddamn month to get the water boiling.
I feel like you had to design this specifically for this movie.
How did you fill it up? Fucking garden hose?
And then he's putting salt in the shit, so it takes longer to boil.
It's that good flavor.
He keeps asking James Earl Jones' dad, is it ready? Is the water ready?
And it was just awkward, like we said, to handle it, just to watch him handle it was like,
Yeah, who would be able to pick this thing up? How do you get the goddamn corn out once it's done? What do you just dump it in the floor and pick it up off the floor?
how do you drain it, motherfucker? Yeah, that's the question. You need to like tap it.
Holy
It's like
shit.
it looks like a water heater that he's just boiling fucking corn in.
What you gotta do? Get a goddamn hose and suck the water out like it's gas out of somebody's car?
This dude literally grabs a chair to check on to see if it's actually boiling or not.
He was pissed off. He said, give me that fucking chair. I literally want to see him like complete cooking the corn. Like, I need to see how this is done.
You see how mad he was when he ran out of salt? Yeah, we get like a POV shot of the killer as we're accustomed to with these like camp style.
We're not a
movies.
killer yet. We're
Of-
just a mutilator.
Well, we're an assaulter, I guess. Maybe I don't.
A criminal.
What the fucking word would be. But yeah, those fucking man hands that
There
this
was some
person
grown-ass man
had.
hands.
Those were some grown ass man hands. Did Aunt Martha sneak into the camp and take revenge for her adopted daughter that was gonna get molested? or
Fucking
what?
auntie coming in. This again, like I was saying about the awkwardness of this, like the way they stage him hovering over the pot when there's someone behind him when he could clearly just turn around. It's really fucking awkward.
And he's like holding onto a shelf above this 4-foot tall pot.
He could literally just extend his elbows and turn around and be fine. But this goes on for like 30 seconds.
Seeing as how we don't know who this person would be because it's the POV perspective.
I thought it was Ronnie.
Anyone else had to be Ronnie moving the chair with those big ass biceps. He's the only one who could move.
He
Artie's
picks the
fat
fucking
ass.
chair up off the ground, curls it with the motherfucker still standing on it.
He dips him in there. He dips him in there like a fucking Oreo and shit.
The chef, you say his name's Artie? I never got his name. Was like a left tackle. He was a massive man to be just pulled out from a chair.
He was as football player. He was a mountain of a man.
Big old boy.
Ron Jaworski, he was a mountain of a man.
Did you guys like the effects work with his blisters and all that laying on the ground?
Oh man, that makeup for the boiling water burns, it's so fucking good.
It was
Like
good.
they even put like contacts in his eyes to make it look like the boiling water actually blinded him. Like it was like sick in the best possible way. It was so
And
good.
it was actually like pulsing and like the wounds were like oozing. That was pretty,
Yeah,
pretty nice.
like blistering and shit. Like yeah, you can see him filling up with blister liquid. What do they call it? Pus, I guess.
Mel, the owner of the camp, gives a raise to the other chef, Ben, and tells them to keep their mouths shut about what happened. Mel is played by Mike Kellen. This was sadly his last film, as he died at the age of 61 of lung cancer 3 months before the release of this film.
And they had him smoking goddamn cigars the whole time? Fuck,
The
man.
whole movie.
He knew he was going out.
When he was fucking up on purpose a few times so he can get a few extra hits. Yeah, the paramedics that wheel Artie's crispy ass out are actual paramedics of the filming location at the time in Fort Edward, New York. Well, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I feel like they definitely leaned into like the community when they made this movie. There's a lot of like extras that are just people from the town or whatever, and they borrowed some equipment from like local law enforcement and stuff. So it's definitely one of those like little movies that turn into a big success. So we're always glad for that.
Are you guys interested in hearing what the minimum wage was back in the early 80s? $3.35. So you think about a $50 raise. That's what it's gonna give Uncle Ben to fucking to keep his mouth shut. If $50 a week, I'd suck your dick, Mr. Mel. Damn.
Did either of you watch this movie and there was some added content in the kitchen here with Ben and Mel?
What, they fucking finger each other's buttholes?
No, like I remember watching this movie a couple years ago, and there was like a racial slur that Mel gave to Ben. That the version I watched was cut out.
Yeah, I don't know what fucking library you rented your shit from this time to watch it, but I didn't see any sort of racial undertones right here.
My library did not have this film, sadly, so I had to resort to other ways.
I had another note here. Just as about the time I noticed the transitions. I don't know if you noticed that between scenes were very like TV break vibe. That's kind of what I was getting. It definitely kind of gave it that cheap 80s feel. Like it wasn't just straight cuts to scenes. It was like slowly fade to black and then fade back in.
Like they were prepping for this shit to go straight to television.
This is going to be on NBC one day or some shit.
At a hangout later that night, a few of the older boys try to talk to Angela, but she gives them the cold shoulder. One asks, "Hey Angela, why are you so fucked up?" Ricky fights them, and Paul sees this as an opportunity to warm up to Angela, who actually tells him good night.
That was sweet. That was a sweet moment. I actually felt a little smirk grow across my face on that delivery.
I can't believe that y'all were going to skip over the introduction to the character Mozart.
Revenge of the Nerds looking motherfucker.
Yeah, you're going to skip over the part where he tongues that dude's asshole?
What? I think it's the version I did not watch. Here we
gag.
go.
Did you not see this version?
Where you make a guy do a sit up and do a bare ass.
Oh,
Did you see the baseball game?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you skipped over all that.
Yeah, sorry.
He tongued the dude's asshole.
I'm sorry. I skipped over the looking at assholes.
The baseball game is 10 minutes of like wasted time.
I think that whole thing is just setting up. There's animosity between these two bunks. That's all that is.
Bunks.
This movie goes out of its way to make sure all these plot holes don't exist. Like, this movie has it's really bad about over-explaining every single thing. But yeah, the real reason I brought that up is there's a couple of quotes here from Ricky once a fucking again that are classics. He says the Billy character during the baseball game, "This guy blows dead dogs."
Fuck.
That's a fucking classic.
That's a
insult.
t-shirt.
That guy blows
And
dead
him-
dogs.
Billy tells him to eat shit and die. Ricky hits him with the eat shit and live. That's a fucking legendary one.
His delivery on that one's pretty fucking gangster too for like what looks like a 12-year-old child.
Oh yeah, and Mozart's out there playing baseball, catching balls with one hand and playing a goddamn video game with the other one.
Yeah,
what
what
a
the
legend.
fuck was that? If that wasn't the most Joey shit I've ever seen, I don't know what was. Motherfucker had a Game Boy in center field.
He threw it so much down and caught the ball, though. It's impressive.
No, he didn't throw the damn thing down. He held it, didn't he? I thought he caught the damn ball with one hand.
Oh, he might
kept the
have.
high,
Okay.
he kept the high score going. He kept his fucking thumbs rolling.
He used T9 methods.
Yeah, we was talking about Ricky coming into the dance hall as well. The fucking hat he wore when he came into the dance hall.
Cowboy. Looking like fucking Red Dead Redemption in there.
He looked like a literal pimp walking into the fucking dance hall.
Later, a couple takes the canoe out onto the lake. Kenny flips the boat over, and his girl Leslie swims back to shore. Kenny is left behind, and a dark-haired kid, I hope, pops up and kills him under the canoe. Very confusing stuff.
We got a little bit of a callback here as well, just before this scene, where they actually get to the lake. The reason they go to the lake is to go skinny dipping.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you talked about in the burning, we saw a lot of dude ass. This fucking movie just topped it. If you're a fan of dude ass, this is the movie for
Oh,
you.
there was a group of dudes.
Like 10
Dude,
buttholes
shit,
in
man.
like 30 seconds.
There was a stampede of ass jumping into the fucking water.
There was dingleberries and fucking nut shots from behind everywhere.
They're trying to convince the girls to go skinny dipping right here. And it's pretty much who needs the girls to go skinny dipping anyway. Sometimes it's he said, "You know what? Y'all don't know how to fun anyway. Let's go, boys. It's just nice to go in with the boys. Let's pull out the peckers and assholes and go for a nice warm dip."
And again, kind of harping back to what I was saying about the fact that this movie is aware of how women are being like viewed and treated. There's no female nudity in this movie. There is tons of male nudity in this movie.
Oh yeah, there's no titties in here, no buttholes.
None.
Out of all the nudity that you actually see, yeah, there isn't.
You see every bit of a man in this movie.
Every single bit.
There's no inch that I haven't seen of male genitalia and butthole in this movie.
Now, when Kenny's on that canoe and he's talking about water snakes, did y'all think for a second he was gonna pull his dick out?
Yes.
That's like
Chris definitely did.
that's just like some shit from It's Always Sunny, like the implication, right?
That's some Jay and
But
Silent
you're kind
Bob
of
shit.
you're in the middle of the fucking lake on a canoe.
Trouser snakes. What's a trouser snake?
The next day, a lifeguard finds Kenny's body, and Mel confesses to the police officer that his death was an accident. Kenny drowned.
This is the world's most angry fucking lifeguard, dude.
He was very
pissed off going around that beach.
He's grabbing all that goddamn furniture out of the lake and he's slinging it and he's just cussing out Mel. These peckerheads suck.
Paul finds Angela and invites her to the movie later that night at the rec hall. Angela is talking up a storm, but only to Paul. The counselor of the girls, Meg, tells Angela that if she is not going to play with them during the volleyball game, then she can't just talk to the boys. She's not some goddamn prima donna. I like that line.
Goddamn, what a bitch, dude.
After the movie, Paul walks Angela back to her cabin, but decides to kiss her behind the building several times, awkwardly.
Can I have another?
The ask for the second one made it like, it was already awkward. But when he asked for the second one, it was like,
Cringe
all right,
AF, bro.
it's kind of weird, bro.
Ugh.
Pause, bro.
Again, going back to like these pressures on these little women.
The next day, the counselor for the girls asks Angela if she is or isn't going into the water and begins to shake her when she does not answer. However, jacked up Ronnie saves the day. I was shocked at how much they focused on the fact that Angela wasn't talking to anybody, and it drove all of the girls of this camp just like insane.
She doesn't do anything.
Well, look, here's the thing. If I'm having to fall asleep to this person every fucking night, and all this person does
Stared
is
at
sit
you.
there and stare at me like a goddamn deer and not say a word, I wouldn't put up with that. That would freak me the fuck out. I couldn't fall asleep at night.
Joey ain't having it.
Yeah, I ain't having it. Bitch, say a word!
I guess knowing what we all know now, what is the reason behind the silence, you think?
What I didn't know then. I'm gonna start this over again.
Is this person just like traumatized and just antisocial?
I think it was what it would have to be, or maybe she's like, I don't want to speak because I know what I am. Like she's embarrassed by it.
I think it just, the way the movie plays out, it wants you to think she is traumatized, obviously. Like we see how she acts in a little bit when they force her to go swimming. But yeah, I think it's just the trauma. That, and I think it's also hanging out with Aunt Martha.
I mean, you know,
Like she's been with Aunt Martha for 8 years. Aunt Martha has fucked her up.
she's making
at this
PB&J
point.
sandwiches and calling her weird
She
shit.
probably thinks she's a doctor and shit, you know?
At the girls' cabin, Judy asks Angela why she never takes showers with them and blames her for not getting her period yet. She says she has no hair down below. She's a real screw.
She's a real carpenter's dream. Flat as a board and needs a screw. That's fucking scorched earth shit. Ain't no coming back from that, Angela. If you was going to talk, don't talk now.
That's the
ain't
corniest
nothing you could say.
fucking 80s joke I've ever heard.
My ass. That shit is epic.
An older kid who threw a water balloon at Angela goes to take a wicked dump.
Wicked
and
dump.
someone dumps, that's a quote from him, and someone dumps an entire beehive into his stall, which comically the bees burrow into his skin and kill him.
Yeah, it look like fucking, what do they call them, bot flies? That
Yeah.
shit you get in Africa?
It's for real, it was bot flies, like hives on his
It
body.
look like fucking bot flies.
I wrote down, is this a bee allergy? Why is this so bad?
That's the only, if you want to have an explanation for it, it's an allergy. That still don't make fucking sense. Because the goddamn bees are on his face, like his face is covered in pollen.
Yeah,
or
like
something.
they wanted to eat his ass.
Not the bees! They're talking about my girl. He can't see without his glasses. R.I.P. Thomas J. and R.I.P. Billy.
He's taking a shit looking for his glasses.
Both taken far too soon. When Angela got hit with that fucking water balloon, man, she hit the ground like LeBron when it hit her.
Yeah,
Did you see that?
This thing was fucking
Like it
devastating,
was-
man. It could have been hot
What is
water,
it
man.
full
Who
of concrete?
knows?
Hot water from the 40-gallon bucket there.
Maybe it's fucking hot water. Maybe it's
Got
corn
corn
water.
cob in there.
Had some corn kernels in it.
I mean, she did get
It's some fucking
sniped.
corn
Damn.
water.
Just imagine walking through, like, you know, just in a grass field and just a water balloon smacking you
a
in the fucking
second.
head.
I'm just having a moment of realization here. It hit her in the crotch, right?
Oh, God.
Oh, did it? I thought it hit her like the chest, but we would say crotch is kind of funny.
I think.
But we don't like in retrospect.
I think it was a low blow.
In hindsight.
And then the water splash might reveal something.
So I think we should probably illustrate this is our first actual death, right? Or a second. But they've all been off-camera violence, and we haven't seen the perpetrator at all. Correct?
This is the third death.
Wait.
Chef,
No, it's the second
Canoe.
The chef didn't
And
die.
No, the chef didn't die.
Oh, well, I mean, he's...
This is our third incident of violence.
Right, and it seems to be perpetrated by the same person. We can't see who they are. It's always off-camera.
They got them man hands.
Just so you know, fellas, if I ever have a boiling hot water, 40 gallons, poured on me, and I go blind, shoot me. For the love of God.
Just throw the bees on him and then drown his ass.
Call it a day.
The bees going to love that corn water.
The movie is set up as a whodunit, right?
Yeah, it's definitely an element of mystery here.
A little bit earlier, we didn't talk about it, but Mozart, he's getting teased. He's got a little Bowie knife, and he's like, you know, chasing his buddy with it. The Bowie knife gets fucking confiscated by one of the counselors, and he hides it. That same Bowie knife is used to cut a hole in the screen to drop in the hornet's nest.
Right over the shitter.
So it's this is, I guess it's supposed to be like implicating Mozart might be the killer at this point.
Yeah, and I did like the fact that it's a slasher that is a, like you said, a whodunit. You really don't get that in the big 80s horror craze. Like, we know who Jason is, who Michael is, so I don't know. I dig it.
Oh, we also know who Cropsy is, don't we?
We fucking do now. No mystery there.
Don't forget to throw Cropsy in here.
Ronnie informs Mel that the camp is down to about 25 kids.
Dropping like fucking flies, dude.
Mel is convinced that the killer is one of the camp's boys.
Mel is fucking crazy. I got that written down about 4 times. This dude's fucking insane. How profitable is this fucking camp that you just can't let this one season go? Is he making fucking $1 million a fucking season?
He had cancer, Chris. He had lung cancer, right?
I'm talking about the fucking character, Hootie. Quit making me feel like an asshole.
You know what? You know what's weird to me is the fact that we see, like Hootie said earlier, 3 to 4 school buses full of children come out of the goddamn bus, and all of a sudden there's only 25 there.
But again, why the fuck can he not just send these kids home? Close up shop. What the fuck does he have to lose?
He don't want to lose that money.
How much money
he's
is he
getting paid,
making?
baby?
He's not doing
You gotta
anything.
think about it. They're sending these kids in there with like $2,000 a piece. That's like the going rate for going to a goddamn camp for a summer.
Joy, these children are fucking dying.
Yeah, no, these are all accidents. They're all accidents.
Children are being murdered,
They're-
Joy.
The Drew fell into the lake. It's just an accident. This guy poured water all over his body.
At this point, he even feels like someone is doing this. But he's still fucking, I got to get that damn $5,000 check at the end of the month.
He can feel how he wants.
This dude's a
As
piece
long
of
as
shit.
the parents think it. As long as the parents think it's all accidents, baby. Keep the money going.
He kind of reminds me of the mayor from Jaws. They have that same kind of mindset.
You can't shut down the town for the summer.
Angela and Paul go down to the lake, and when Paul begins to kiss down Angela's neck, she flashes back to her father with his male lover, as she and her, what I assume was her brother, watched. This, however, is the same man who was run over by a boat earlier at the lake. Angela snaps out of it and runs away, leaving Paul with a severe case of blue balls. The next day, the girls' counselor, Meg, and Judy throw Angela into the lake against her will, while Mel grabs Ricky, accusing him of being the killer. Ricky once again is able to save the day with the help of ripped Ronnie.
Did anybody else notice during this scene where Mel does, like the first time he confronts Ricky, perfectly angled in the fucking background between them is Ronnie doing some lat raises?
I did not see this.
Perfectly in the center of it. I think the director had the hots for Paul D'Angelo, the guy that played Ronnie.
Good for Paul.
Because he's actually, I don't think this is a spoiler, but he actually is third bill in the sequel that this director actually directs.
Nice.
Paul
He
D'Angelo?
brings him back. Yeah. Well, Ronnie, yeah.
Damn.
He brings him back.
Also, a bit of note here before we get into the scene. A bunch of little kids are throwing sand at Angela while she's coming back.
Boy.
And I think Ricky calls them like little bastards or something on the way out.
The fucking lifeguard says, "Stop it, you animals." These savage-ass kids are throwing dirt and sand at Angela after she had this traumatic experience. That's some Lord of the Flies level shit.
It's like the 8-year-olds. These are like the really little kids.
Savage.
Everybody hates Angela. Head counselor Ronnie is giving out nightly tasks, and Meg, the girls' counselor, is gifted the night off. So what does she do? What anybody would do when they're in their teen years: try to bang Mel, the owner.
Mel's loony ass is gonna fuck Meg.
What the fuck was this, dude?
So strange.
He's in a position of power, man. Power brings attraction. Power breeds horniness. He said, "Up at your place." Mel's got a fucking house. Mel's got a house up in the goddamn woods. You know he don't live at this camp. This is his second house.
She even brags about going on a fucking date with this guy. Like, this is something she seems to be actively looking forward to.
She does say, "Oh, I have a hot date tonight," or something like that. In order for Meg to get a quick shower before her date with Mel, she has to go to a shower alone. She gets a knife jabbed in her back and pulled down through the flesh, and the killer graciously turns the water off. A real nature-conscious killer that we have here.
Same knife we saw earlier when they cut the screen for the hornet's nest. But yeah, I guess Meg did get her back blown out, just not in the way she was looking forward to.
Pointing out, in this scene, in any horror movie, you're going to see some female nudity. Not here.
They went out of their way not to show you tits in this.
You know how hard it would be to send a hunting knife through a wall into a human body and then rip down through the wall and through the flesh?
They're going like through the fucking spine, dude. They're going through like the fucking bone right down the middle.
Oh yeah, she was paralyzed.
It's fucking
like
wild.
It cut into her goddamn spinal, like spinal fluid was leaking out her ass.
You would need like a fucking samurai sword and a grown man thrusting with all the strength to pull this off.
You would need Ronnie.
You need fucking Rurouni Kenshin or some shit up in that bitch.
Fucking Ronnie did it. This is the only evidence that no one else.
It really does point to Ronnie.
Dude, Ronnie's been implicated this whole time.
He's the nicest fucking guy, though, man.
She didn't want to fuck Ronnie though. You know, Mel's dick probably tastes like an ashtray.
Paul asks Angela for his forgiveness, and she tells him to meet her at the lake after the evening social. Eddie, the counselor, to a group of little campers, leaves them behind at an overnight camping site. The killer kills them for no reason at all.
It doesn't tie together quite yet until you know who the killer is.
Yeah, I think from what I understand, this is one of the like two things that the director kind of wishes he did not include in the movie.
From my understanding, these are the kids that were throwing sand on Angela and Ronnie. Or not Ronnie, but Ricky. Dude, he made them kids sleep on the fucking ground and not even in a tent. They were literally laying out there amongst the goddamn weeds. The fucking kid's like, "I'm cold." I was like, "Me too." He's like,
Let's get the fuck out of here.
"Too bad."
Mel, excited for his hot date, finds Meg dead in the shower as her body falls out somehow, and Mel is determined to kill Ricky in her honor.
Again, I wrote down Mel is fucking crazy. This dude is talking to himself and her dead body about how he's going to get fucking vengeance and kill this little 13-year-old boy.
Mel's the only one that's got his head screwed on straight. He
He's
knows what his
fucking
priorities
insane.
are. He knows Ricky is out here fucking destroying people. Ricky's the one who has the reasons to do all this damage. It's got to be Ricky.
Mel said, "Not vengeance, no. Punishment."
Not you, Meg. His mourning period for Meg is literally like 7 seconds.
Yeah, like I was wondering if there's some kind of history they were supposed to be aware of here, because I don't sense it based on the way it goes down, but this dude loses his fucking shit. He's crazy, man.
Judy is curling her hair with a hot iron when someone walks into the girl's cabin that she actually recognizes. The person slaps her across the face and then sends that hot iron right up her vagina.
What you call a slap, I call a fucking straight jab right to the goddamn
I mean,
face.
she
That
knocks
person
the shit out of
The
her.
punch was solid.
knocked her ass out.
What was done with the straightener? How do you know that's what happened?
That was shoved up her pussy hole.
I think it's supposed to be assumed. I'm not.
I didn't get that.
It was either pussy hole or asshole, and I would assume pussy hole.
So what did you think, Chris?
I don't know. Like, he fucking stuck it in her guts or something. I don't know.
Oh, you mean like stabbed through her, like
Yeah.
like a knife?
God damn, it had to be Ronnie. If that's the case. What the fuck?
Just
Stabbed through
paralyzed
his
a woman
stomach?
through the wall with a fucking knife.
What if Mel got Megs by his shower and went, "It's Ronnie. I have got to fucking kill Ronnie." Like, good luck.
Oh, no. If it was Ronnie, he would have said, fuck it, I ain't gonna do shit. Ronnie would have beat my old ass to a fucking pulp.
I don't know if how clean of a print you guys got, how good your copy of this was. But in this scene, when that door opens and we see the silhouette, there's an issue here that the director also has with once it got transferred to high definition, you can clearly see this person's face in the silhouette.
Oh, yeah, it's 100% Ricky.
It's bad. Apparently, in the original footage, you can't see that.
Eddie comes back to find all the kids he left behind are murdered, and he pukes milk and runs off for help. Ricky grabs a handful of candy from the social right before Mel grabs him and begins to beat the living shit out of him.
This dude goes straight fucking 2001 A Space Odyssey. He hits him like a fucking orangutan would hit somebody. He's like,
Dude, Mel beats Ricky's ass with moves only seen in Congo. He's double hammer fisting his ass like a gray gorilla.
it's fucking wild, dude. Like, he has no, like, no motion in his elbow. It's all, like, just fucking hands just beating.
I don't know how he didn't die.
You know, all them nicotine stains on his fucking, like, arms and shit just rubbing off of Ricky's face.
No, this is for Meg, you little bastard.
Mel runs away after beating Ricky and sees someone he knows yet again. This person sends an arrow right through his throat. Friday the 13th, eat your heart out. Paul is waiting by the lake when Angela shows up telling him to take his clothes off because they're going night swimming. Paul is pumped.
Dude, how fast did Paul take him fucking pants off?
He said, oh, yeah?
I think he ripped them off.
No hesitation. Y'all ever seen that movie, Bruce Almighty?
Yes.
Oh, where he does the little arm
Where he
move?
fucking tears his clothes off and shit? That's the same shit Paul did. Clothes off in one movement.
A cop shows up with a comically large flashlight and finds Ricky alive. Next, the same cop finds Judy's body mutilated.
You said comically large flashlight. How about the comically fake fucking mustache on his face?
That was fucking awful, too.
He had a mustache. The crazy thing is, in the beginning of the movie, when he made his first scene, it was a big, luxurious, beautiful mustache on this man's face. I think it was a real mustache, and he cut it between the time he filmed this scene or the first scene and this scene.
The actor had moved on to another movie, and they called him back to shoot some cleanup.
Oh.
So he had to put a fake
It
one
was
on.
like they took construction paper and fucking cut two little black triangles out and stuck it on his face.
Which I understand you need to do that, but you didn't have to hold on his face that close for 10 fucking seconds. You know, it was
Literally that fucking close up. He had the close up. He had the.
He stepped into the light right in front of the camera like this. Just sat there.
No one else's face took up the entire screen more than his face did in that scene, in the entire movie.
There was a lot of footage of him with a fake mustache to be cleanup footage.
Well, I don't know if it's clean up so much as I guess they're shooting it and they get to a point where they need some plot holes to be filled in. So they're like, let's get the cop back in here to do this.
Ronnie goes down to the lake to try to look for Ricky, Angela, and Paul. Ronnie walks up to Angela, who is humming a song and rubbing Paul's head. Angela flashes back to Ricky's creepy fucking mom, explaining how they always wanted a little girl, and they already have a little boy. So when her husband comes home, he must see the little girl he always wanted. The mother tells the boy, whose name is Peter, that he would like the name Angela.
From then on, that was a little boy turned into a little girl.
You know what's wild about this? The flashback to be happening at that moment is it's building fucking anticipation for. Like, it's telling me what I didn't expect. Okay, you got me there. But then my question is, okay, what the fuck does that have to do with what's going on here?
Oh, boy.
I think that is what makes this interesting, is what happens immediately after this.
At that moment, Angela jumps up, throwing Paul's decapitated head to the side and showing Ronnie, big old Ronnie, her big surprise. Angela shows Ronnie that, in fact, she has, oh yes, you guessed it, a penis. And Ronnie calmly says, "Oh my God, she's a boy." As Angela shows off both her thick chest hair and penis, she looks at Ronnie and makes an animalistic noise. The end.
Dude, looks like my man's packing. That's Peter's fucking Peter. More like Angelo. Okay, now that we know Angela is actually a dude, do we think she actually had a crush on Judy? And decapitated Paul because he was smooching Peter's girl?
You think there was a sexual attraction for...
The way she kept staring at Judy throughout the entire fucking movie.
And again, I couldn't figure out the silence, the staring bits either.
She stared at Judy more than anybody else. Was literally looking at her.
Angela identified as a boy. So she liked other girls.
This is
Yeah,
this is
I'm
the gray
saying.
area where we just don't fucking know. I don't know if that was even part of the idea in '83.
That's a pretty good take, though.
Yeah, it's just an idea.
What if
Throwing it out there.
What if she's... Again, we're going to fuck up how to refer to this person here, but that's just how this movie works.
It don't matter. It's a fucking movie. Just
What if Angela
Yeah,
is
just
seeing
whatever.
what she is expected to be in Judy? Like the prototypical woman. Like she's starting puberty and stuff.
Yeah,
like
very much alike.
maybe like a jealousy thing or something. And the fucking face, the face at the end, I think, is the fucking...
that shit was blood curdling.
It's terrifying. Why the fuck
The
is
noise,
that?
she's like hissing. It's like a hissing and a goddamn warning sign. No, it was like... But she's maintaining eye contact with like Ronnie the whole
Yeah,
fucking
she
time.
gives
while
me
she's doing
chills thinking about it again, man. It's so fucking weird. Like, of all like images you could take from any movie, like there's great scenes and things that happen in horror movies, but singular images, this is fucking up there.
It's cinched in your brain. Once you see it, you can't forget it.
I don't ever have dreams because I don't get scared of fucking movies or anything anymore. The night I watched this, I was seeing this shit in my head at night. It was fucking tripping me out, dude.
How about that?
It was
it.
wild.
You want to fuck yourself up real good?
No, I don't.
All right.
Take some ZQuil or NyQuil before you go to sleep. Take a little bit more than the recommended dose.
See what kind of dreams you have.
It makes you dream every single fucking time you do it. I fucking swear. Let's see if you see this little goddamn mongoloid in your
This
dreams.
thing, I cannot get out of my fucking head for like 24 hours, dude. It tripped me up.
Yeah, it was super freaky.
I have a question, and I didn't look into it that hard. I was hoping maybe one of you did. Was that the actress, Angela, standing over a male body, like maybe it was Ricky's body, or was that a prosthetic body on top of Angela?
It was actually a cast. They made a cast of her face doing that, the mouth wide open pose. Like a big ass helmet, pretty much, that this college student is wearing.
Oh.
They got him to shave his body so he looks younger, but it's actually like, it's a really drunk college kid, apparently. He had to get really drunk to do that scene.
He had to get fucking plastered.
And if you look, apparently, this is like a goof. If you watch like towards the lake shore when we're approaching Angela from behind and she's like cradling the kid's head, you could see the other guy getting undressed in the background.
Oh, shit. That's a cool tidbit.
But yeah, they said it took him a while to work up the nerve to get fucking butt ass naked and just stand there. Because when it goes wide, because it has the shot on her face and her face is disturbing. But when it goes wide, it's even creepier because of the way the head is constructed. Because it's like, it's not moving, you know. It's really fucking terrifying.
It honestly looks like some shit out of like a Silent Hill video game or some shit, you know?
It's like the head is too big for the body almost. It's very uncanny valley weird shit.
It's well done. Whoever did it, it's well done.
Yeah, the ending frame is insane. And they even like run the credits against like a freeze frame of that.
I just want to know, like, what happened after that. Like, what did Ronnie do?
Yeah, that was my question. Like, what's like, okay, that's your reveal.
It's a good thing you boys said that. 2008's Return to Sleepaway
Oh,
Camp.
boy.
That's the movie for next time. Let's go!
But again, going back to the psycho stuff with the music, I really appreciate this ending.
Oh, yeah, how it just, like, ends on this frame and didn't really explain anything else. I think it was great. That was the right call. The director, for his, like, directorial debut, that was really, really well thought out and executed.
From what I understand, he had his location, and he knew how he wanted to end it. Everything else came afterwards.
I don't get shocked anymore as an adult, but I watched this movie maybe last year or 2 years ago, and I walked away from this being shocked at what I had just witnessed.
For me, even beyond like the twist, because I've always been a twist guy. I'm always looking for twists and things like this. It's the imagery, like that frame. I don't know why. It's just so fucking terrifying. I watched art carve up people for 30 minutes straight, you know.
You're fine.
But
Yeah,
this,
well,
like, I don't know why this got in my fucking crawl, but it did.
Well, now that we established that Angela is the killer of Peter, however you want to refer to this person, Ricky was obviously the red herring throughout. He was painted like, this is the obvious killer. In every scene where it showed the hands of the killer from the POV perspective, and the scene where right before Judy is assaulted with the curling iron, that is Ricky playing that role in each of those sequences. Felissa Rose, her mother, didn't want her playing the actual killer in these sequences, so they just had Ricky do it. We've seen the what they consider, or what most horror educated people consider the big three of the camp horror movies. So which camp do you guys want to spend your summer? Camp Crystal Lake, Camp Stonewater, or Camp Arawak?
I think for me, I still have to go Crystal Lake.
Oh, fucking it's only ever like 10 people there, and everyone fucking dies. I feel like I'm going to go the Jason Alexander route, because he didn't take any damage at all.
Camp Stonewater, baby.
There was like 50 kids that were just fine there.
Dude, imagine being a young boy, a preteen boy, 14, 15, 16 years old. All the girls are super horny. No one wore bras. And I get to hang out with Jason Alexander. Send my ass to Camp Stonewater.
And with those kudos and high fives, what piece of memorabilia would you like to take home from our 50th reviewed film?
Give me Ricky's pimp hat, the one he wears into the dance hall. That shit was dope. And if it gives me any amount of confidence that Ricky had in this movie, I'll fucking take it.
Let me keep it simple. Let me get one of those Camp Arawak white tees, baby.
I also chose the Camp Arawak t-shirt. However, I want a specific Camp Arawak t-shirt. I want Ronnie's Camp Arawak t-shirt and the short red running shorts.
He probably doesn't stretch that shit out. You got to wear a bra to fucking damn wear that shirt.
All right, let's wrap up Sleepaway Camp, fellas. What did you boys think of this film?
This movie is fucking wild, man. Is there really any other way to describe it? Unfortunately, I had the ending of Sleepaway Camp ruined for me a long time ago. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch the movie without knowing where it was headed. In the traditional sense of a movie review, this is a bad movie. The acting, the writing are shit. The setting, familiar and uninspired, with over-reliance on its eventual twist to differentiate itself from the crowd. However, what the movie has going for it for some people is the fact that it's a fucking cheese fest from beginning to end, and that makes it one of those movies, much like Troll 2, that are so bad and corny that it's actually good. You have memorable characters in Angela and Crazy Aunt Martha. That shit acting and dialogue that I talked about, it's made endearing and charming for just how bad it is, solely based on its campiness. The special effects makeup is actually great, especially the burn victim Artie and the grotesque but exaggerated Be Attacked Billy. The score itself is so over the top, so bombastic, so dramatic, and out of place that it just adds to the uniqueness of something that otherwise could just be labeled a generic Friday the 13th knockoff. And that ending, it's bold and ballsy, no pun intended, especially for its time. That image of Angela hissing with her mouth and eyes wide open, covered in blood, with his dick swinging, it's one of the most iconic shots in horror movie history. Now, don't get me wrong, I like cheese. Friday the 13th movies wouldn't be the same without it. But that's a horror franchise that keeps its 80s cheese in check for the most part, while Sleepaway Camp keeps piling it on, whether purposefully or not. Let's put it this way. I like my pizza with extra cheese. I mean, sure, who doesn't? But too much cheese, and I can't shit the next day. Too much cheese, and I feel like shit. Too much cheese, and I can't taste the delicious pepperoni and garlic and tomato underneath. And with that, Sleepaway Camp grades out with a C for charmingly cheesy.
Well, since we began the podcast, this has been floating around with that must-watch tag, particularly based on the quote-unquote nuts ending. Luckily, I was able to get into this one unspoiled, aside from the fact that the ending was just going to be wild. The effects are serviceable for what is clearly a cheap movie, and I genuinely enjoy the Hitchcock-esque orchestral score. The idea of a child killer in a camp slasher kept me interested throughout a story filled with its own ebbs and flows. Watching the clock wind down had me spinning as what could make the ending as infamous as it was. And boy, what a fucking ending. Many horror movies are known for great scenes, scores, characters, but I cannot think of another example of a single frame of footage as dominant as this. I have walked out of hundreds of better movies and forgotten the details within days. This movie, this shot, this ending is searing. I do not know what to think of this, how to feel, but I know the power of moving pictures is amplified here. I give Mr. Heltzik a B+ and a bona fide excitement for his next project.
So this was my pick, Sleepaway Camp, 1983, a movie that I would say I really enjoyed and still do after rewatching it. It is not without its flaws. However, it makes up for it in the story that unfolds throughout the film for the classic summer camp setup. Made after Friday the 13th and The Burning, to name a few that we've actually covered on the show, Sleepaway Camp actually provides a new spin on the beaten-to-death plotline. You can skip the sequels of this film. However, if you have never seen this film, it is a must-watch at least once, if nothing else, for that incredible ending. I give this film a solid C+.
All right, fellas, with that in the books, let's recap our guesses for that audience score. Mr. Hootie was a non-participant, so between Joseph and I did a 40, Joy a 55. The actual audience score is a 6060. Bang, bang, chicken and shrimp for Mr. Nasty.
Stop. Hammer time.
You got to do the pose, man. You got to do the with the mouth open.
Is it the fucking arms and shit?
You got to do the mouth open with the scream from the end of Sleepaway Camp for like 10 seconds. I can't hear you. You got to do the growl thing too.
That's what she does actually at HorrorCons for Full of Freaks and
God, my
Rose.
goddamn eyes.
When she does like photo ops, that she just does that face over and over and over.
Dude, that's scary as fuck. Yeah, I wouldn't like that shit. I'd be like, hey, to do anything but that face. She has really big boobs too.
Massive.
She does.
Well, I just saw this particular movie is getting a video game adaptation this year. So I figured let's fudge the numbers a little bit. Let's go ahead and try to strike while the iron's hot once this movie starts getting some more traction with some modern audiences. Let's keep the corniness going, the campiness going, with 1988's Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
It is getting a game. Forgot about that.
A fucking video game? What?
It's getting a game, and it's going to be fantastic.
All right, folks, you want to play along? We're going to hop on YouTube, watch an official trailer for Killer Clowns from Outer Space from 1988, the year of your boy. Let's go.
It was a night like any other night. Then something happened.
Yeah, they're on a lifeboat in the middle of the goddamn, like, forest.
Is this fucking
Oh, yeah,
Spider-Man 3?
Back of a Bronco.
It's no shooting star.
Look at that shit.
Oh, God.
Why here? Why now? Why clowns?
The fucking music is so good, man.
They've been knocking them dead all over the universe.
Look at this fucking guy.
Knock my block off.
Soon they'll be doing it at a theater near you.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Oh, he said the name of the movie in the
Nice.
movie.
In the fucking trailer.
Come on, bitch, jump.
Fucking pizza. Let's go.
She reacting normally to that.
Maybe they're just cruising through the galaxy and stopped here for a bite to eat.
You don't need a police pal, you need a psychiatrist.
Fucking song is dope.
They want to play games? They're messing with the wrong
Killer
guy.
clowns.
Long trailer.
What are you in for?
Killer clowns from outer space. It's crazy.
The guy talking sounds like such a nice guy. Killer clowns.
Yeah, that'll be fun. We'll have to follow it up. The next movie had to be something like fucking super demonic and sick.
Well, that's that, Hootie. So, I guess between you and I, my guy, what's that bad boy sitting down on Rotten Tomatoes?
I'm going to go 82.
I'm going to say 60. All right, folks, thank you for listening. Check out the website, horriblefilmschool.com, to find links to all the podcast platforms and the socials. Give us a follow, leave a review, send us some man-hugging short shorts. I'm going to say goodbye and offer my support to women, period. That's all I got on this one.
As always, if you're hearing our voices, tell at least one person you know. Spread the love, spread the campaign. Looking at our recent downloads, got to send a big shout out to our listeners across the pond. And with that, I'm going to go make some popcorn and watch Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Thanks for all the likes, the subs, the listens, the follows, the downloads. We really appreciate you guys and gals as a support, as well as your time and attention. Be sure to join us next time when we take a trip in a rocket ship with 1988's Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Class dismissed.